Yo, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, we're going to be doing the Q&A, and I'm going to be answering some of your questions. I just got to say, first off, thank you so much for all of the questions. I got way more than I thought I was going to get. I've got uncountable amounts of ones, to the point where I can't even answer all of them, so sorry if I don't answer your question. I'm just going to pick the most interesting ones and the ones that I'd like to talk about the most. But yeah, if you don't get your question answered in this video, then I'll reply to your comment or something. I'll make sure I get back to you, or maybe if I do another Q&A, you can, go and ask another question. So make sure to be on the lookout for these Q&As, because I'll be answering all your questions. I want to know what you guys think. I want to interact with you guys more. That being said, let's get straight into it. So first off, we're going to start with the Twitter questions, and we got a question from Ovek, who says, when's the next water stream? Now, if you guys don't know, you guys probably won't know this, but over on Slightly Insulting, the channel where I do the live streams every Thursday night, basically we did a stream where every subscriber that we gained during the stream, I would tip a cup of water over my head, and let's just say we gained about 40 subscribers just because of this fact. I was absolutely freezing. So yeah, if you want to go check out that stream, go overhead to a Slightly Insulting to see me get drenched, which is pretty funny. And obviously we're going to be doing more streams like that every single Thursday night, so if you want to see me get absolutely drenched and roasted, then go over and subscribe to Slightly Insulting. We also do post some pretty cool Marvel content over there too, so you know what I mean. Like, okay, so that was the only Twitter question I've got, so thanks Ovek for making me not look like an idiot. Now we're going to move on to the YouTube questions. Skill Studio says, why are you a simp? Migo ADS says, who do you prefer more, Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield? Now this is a question. Obviously, as you guys know, I love Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire's my favorite Spider-Man, but Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield, who would it be out of these two? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Pretty sure someone else asked me this question on one of my recent videos where I did the Q&A announcement as well. Been a few questions about this. I don't know. It's gonna have to be Tom Holland. I'm sorry, Andrew fans. It's gonna have to be Tom Holland. Yes, Andrew's my least favorite, but I still love him as Spider-Man, though. Don't get me wrong. I still love him as Spider-Man. Isn't that right, Kevin? Kevin agrees with me. See, Kevin, he agrees, okay? Yeah. So who's your favorite Spider-Man villain? From the comic books, it's almost certainly Green Goblin, and when it comes to TV shows, it's still Green Goblin. From the movies, it's probably Vulture from Homecoming. I don't know what, he's just so cool. After Tobey being in the MCU, can you do a Spider-Verse 2 fan-made story? When it comes to Spider-Verse 2 and PS4 universe, I want to pre-write those, but the thing is, I'm too afraid to do it because the first ones were so good that I could never live up to that. I was bricking it when I was writing the Raimi films, 4, 5, and 6, because the Raimi films are some of the god-holy superhero movies, and I was like, oh no, I ain't gonna live up to this. Spider-Verse, if I mess that up, nah, it's pitchforks, man. And same if I mess up Spider-Man PS4 sequel, it's still pitchforks. I can't mess that up. I'll do it one day, but I'm gonna have to think long and hard about those. Out of all the fan-made stories you've created, which has been your favorite so far, says Alex Nachman. Did I say your name right? I'm so sorry. I'm a butcher so many names if I read them out. But anyway, my favorite fan-made story so far isn't actually in the Spider-Verse saga. It would be Spider-Man 3 pre-writing in the MCU. I love that one so much. I don't know why. I just feel like that's the most coherent and one of the better ones I've done. Would you do Spider-Man the New Animated Series Season 2 for Evan Falaka's sake? I can never say the guy's last name. I'm so sorry, Evan. I can't say your last name, mate. I can't. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'd do. Yeah, no, I'm doing it. That's one of the Spider-Man videos I have planned after Spider-Verse, is to go into Season 2 of the MTV show, because they did Season 1 and they never did Season 2, and I'm like, why do you do that? But yeah, that's one of the ones that I've got requested so many times. I would have added it into the Spider-Verse. It's just that I had everything planned out, and then you guys suggested it way too late, so sorry guys, sorry. But yeah, no, I'm gonna do it. It seems like a really fun idea, and I feel like I really want to explore that, because it's a Spider-Man universe that's really underrated, in my opinion. Lucas Green says, which villain would you say is Spider-Man's arch nemesis, Green Goblin or Venom? Both have figured out the webhead's identity, but which do you prefer to hear your answer? I'd love to hear your answer and explanation. P.S. Keep up the good work, Lewis. Thanks so much, man. Who is his arch nemesis? First off, I think Spider-Man has 3 arch nemesises. Green Goblin, then Venom, and Dr. Octopus. Now, here's the thing. They all have different meaning. I'm going to start with Doc Ock, Venom, then I'm going to go to Green Goblin, because Green Goblin's the one I want to talk about the most. Doc Ock is kind of like Spider-Man's arch nemesis. Yeah, so he kind of represents the opposite of Spider-Man. Octopus, Spider-Man's a spider. Clash. And he's like Spider-Man's Matt. He's his arch nemesis. Now, while you might say that Venom is his arch nemesis because he has the same powers as Spider-Man, Venom is Peter Parker's arch nemesis, because Eddie Brock is described as being Peter Parker's evil twin, and that's what the black suit suit does then represent, because obviously it's a darker version of the Spider-Man costume, represent the evil twin or the evil side of Peter Parker, and Doc Ock is the evil side of Spider-Man. And the reason Venom is Peter Parker's arch nemesis is because obviously we know Doc Ock hates Spider-Man, Eddie Brock hates Peter Parker. That's where their hatred comes from in each of those characters. When it comes to Norman Osborn, he is the Joker to Spider-Man. Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, he messes with both Spider-Man and Peter Parker. He will stop at nothing to terrorize him. It's almost like a yin-yang back and forth Joker-Batman type scenario. It's a harder one to explain because they have so much rivalry between them. You have the personal connection between Norman and Peter, and you have the rivalry as obviously Green Goblin as Spider-Man. It's like Doc Ock and Venom in one. The Green Goblin is both of them. So Spider-Man technically has 3 arch nemesises, but if there's one ultimate arch nemesis, that would be Green Goblin. Night Pepper YT says, who is your favorite superhero movie director? I would say Sam Raimi, but like not a superhero movie director as such. He's more of a horror director. But I don't really know. I don't know. I'd go either probably Russo brothers, Taika Waititi, probably the Russo brothers. They have a unique style, so yeah, probably the Russo brothers. How'd you write these cool storylines? I don't know. What I do is I just kind of think in my head. I don't know. I've just watched a lot of movies. What you've got to do if you want to make stories like how I make them. I'm not saying mine are good or anything. Mine they're uncomparable to like movies and stuff. But if you want to make cool storylines and like, you know, cool character arcs, you've just got to watch a lot of movies. It's almost like getting experience from the place that it comes from. You've got to watch a lot of what you're doing. So, you know, if you're racing a go-kart, for example, you've got to know how the go-kart works. You've got to know about racing lines. You've got to know about how to get the maximum out of your tires. You've got to know about slipstream. You've got to know about timings and stuff, how to overtake, when the last move, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like that. You've got to watch other people. So I've just watched a lot of movies and I just know how some things go. So that, and then I just think about it in my head, then I write it down, and then like I'll write down a load of notes and a load of things I want to happen, where the characters are going to go. Then I'll write it in like a coherent script, and then I'll speak it to you guys on audio, and then I will edit it, upload it, and it'll be done. And yes, most of the process goes on in writing, because when it comes to me, most of the process doesn't go on in editing and recording. That can take me about maybe 2-3 hours at the least, you know, so it doesn't even take that long to do that. It takes like a regular video to do that. But when it comes to, you know, like actually writing story, that's the hardest part, because I'm trying so hard to come up with the best story I can possibly come up with for the characters to go forward in. So it's really hard to do that. But yeah, that's how I do it. Are you going to upload DC videos? Maybe. I don't know. How did you discover Spider-Man? Spider-Man 2 is how I discovered Spider-Man. What's your IQ? God, I don't know. What is my IQ? That's a good question. Maybe I'll do a video on that one day. Holly Tweedy says, why are you so cute? You know, me and Kevin both asked the same question to you. Huh? You gonna explain yourself? DGMC says, how would you have connected the early 2000s Marvel movies, you know, Blade, X-Men, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Hulk, Punisher, you know, all them, into a cinematic universe? That's a hard video. You know, I might make a video on that one day, but it'd be pretty hard considering obviously they're all different studios, and, you know, especially with big events like Logan, X-Men Apocalypse, Days of Future Past, the ending from Spider-Man 3, the Hulk movie. You know, it'd be hard to play all that off. It's hard to, like, integrate all that. I don't know how I'd do it. I guess what I'd do is I'd probably say the lesser events happen first, and then it all builds up to the bigger ones, so that way the movies before in the lesser events don't have to acknowledge the big events, and then it's vice versa, so the bigger ones don't really have to acknowledge the lesser ones because they're not important, because they're kind of bigger in a way. And then I'd bring them all together and like cross them over in sequels and stuff, so then it makes sense, and then you can acknowledge it. I don't know that. I'd probably do something like that. If you could change anything about superhero, what would it be? Jesus, I don't know. Hard question. Okay, I'm gonna answer this about the original Spider-Man trilogy. I would give Peter Parker mechanical web shooters, because one thing that them movies do is Peter Parker's so freaking stupid. If he made web shooters, I feel like it'd bring the smart side of Peter Parker out more, because we know he's a smart kid. He has evidence of being smart in the movies, but he just acts dumb all the time. You know, you need someone to back him up. So this is an interesting question. Why do you think DC movies are all over the place and not more talked about like Marvel movies? This is an interesting question, because I feel like it's because DC wanted to play catch up. They did Man of Steel, which came out a year after the Avengers, and then because of the Avengers, they were like, okay, we need to do Justice League. But it didn't work because they had no characters set up. They had Man of Steel, which arguably is worse than all of the Marvel movies, like critically acclaimed, but I still thought it was a really good movie. I still enjoyed it a lot. I feel like they could have took that universe somewhere. It was a different take on Superman. Henry Cavill did a fantastic job. Then they did Batman vs Superman, and it was the most stupid thing. They crammed so many things into that movie, like Wonder Woman. They crammed the Flash, Aquaman into it. It was so unnecessary. They shouldn't even done Batman vs Superman. Yeah, that would have worked better if it just stayed at that. But they should have done a Batman movie with Ben Affleck, then done Batman vs Superman. And then obviously the franchises that have survived, like Wonder Woman, it's like they're just gonna continue with them. And it's like no one knows what's happened to Batman. No one knows what's happened to Superman. Ben Affleck isn't Batman anymore, yet they're still making these movies in this universe. So what are they going to do? They're going to have to do Flashpoint, and they've been saying they're going to do Flashpoint for the longest time. They haven't. I don't have any faith it's going to happen after the whole Ezra Miller thing. I think they'll do some sort of reset, but whether it'll be Flashpoint, I mean, I God hope it's Flashpoint. At least that's a logical way of doing it. Anyway, with that being said, this video is getting way too long, but that's been it for the Q&A today. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to, hit the bell next to the subscribe button to not miss any more content. With that being said, yep. You want to do another Q&A? Make sure to let me know, and I'll probably do one like maybe every 2 weeks, every month. I don't even know. But anyway, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.